Welcome. We're glad that you're here to celebrate 36 years of ministry here. For the longest time, Amy was not the oldest person on staff, but the longest tenured person on staff. And I don't think that record is going to be beat for a long, long time. And during that 36 years, she pretty much has done almost every job here at church, including mine. Started out with the children, and that morphed larger and larger until it included family ministries. She preached and led worship when we had the site over at McClintock Middle School, leading VBS and playing in the bells and Sunday school and writing curriculum for Sunday school. And then, of course, most recently, we know her as the director of outreach here at Christ Lutheran, to ensure that we continually have this eye that looks beyond the walls of our church so that we can make an impact in the greater kingdom. So this afternoon, we're going to hear people talk about different chapters of Amy's life and the impact that she had in almost 4 decades. That sounds long when you say it out loud, doesn't it? 4 decades through music and through speeches and through videos. Amy, this is your life. And we are so pleased to share this journey with you. Afterwards, we invite you to come on downstairs. Our reception team, heading up by Alicia and Mike, have done an amazing job of having a gathering there where we can continue with the conversations, the story, the laughter, and maybe some of the tears. Would you please stand for our opening hymn? Please be seated. Our first speaker is one who has worked with Amy longest of anyone else. With his 32 years here at Christ Lutheran Church, Mark Glazer and Amy Daniels were an inseparable dynamic duo combining programming and music together. For children, yeah, but it grew and grew to more and more beyond that. But it's more than just colleagues of being on the same staff at a church. That relationship, certainly over time, has morphed to a deep friendship, and not just between the two of them, but also between their two families. They have shared life together. They have shared many birthdays and weddings, baptisms, deaths, grandchildren, and vacations, and countless hands of spades. They have shared all of life together here. So, join me in welcoming directly from the couch, after surgery on a rotator cuff, Mark Glazer.
Good afternoon. My name is Mark Glazer. I used to work here. A couple of years ago, in fact, it was the privilege of my life to do so. For 32 and a half of your years, Amy, I had the privilege to work beside you and marvel as you worked your magic. Today, we gather in this sacred place, not as colleagues or parishioners, but as families united by the bonds of shared purpose. This journey of faith with you has spanned more than 3.5 decades. It is with a mixture of joy and bittersweet emotions, and I'm not going to get choked up, that we come together, honoring and bidding farewell to someone whose presence has been a cornerstone of our church, someone who's faithfully served for 36 remarkable years. How does one encapsulate the legacy of 36 years? I can assure you it's a tapestry, and it's woven from countless acts of kindness. I'm good. Unwavering dedication and lots of laughter and practical jokes, tons of prayers, and the constant, steady guidance on your part that has shaped this community into what it is today. Your work here has been more than a profession. It's been a calling, a ministry, and a gift. Can Chloe bring my water, please? A gift to all who've had the privilege of being swept up in your wake. I did this at my daughter's wedding. I'm a rock. I can do this. As I reflect on your time with us, I'm reminded of our humble beginnings. Those days when the church itself was indeed smaller, the congregation far fewer, but our vision and hope was huge. David Meisenheimer, senior pastor at the time, plucked you from that optical shop at which you worked and offered you a job at Christ Lutheran working with children. What began as a part-time job quickly became your life's mission. And with every passing year, your role grew not only in responsibility and hours, but in significance. From nothing, you created this juggernaut ministry called Family Ministry and assembled your army of volunteers. Through seasons of change like new pastors and new staff, shifting ministries, renovations, and the raising of these very walls, you have stood as a constant. You have been the quiet force behind children's choirs and camps, children's musicals, handbell choirs, Sunday school, vacation Bible school, Wednesdays Together and Wednesdays Ablaze, outreach projects, Crop Walk, Habitat for Humanity, small groups, Freedom School, McPie, including 3 years of worship services at McClintock, community meals, family nights, and ensuring that everything around you could be furthering our mission of making Christ known. After one particular kickoff Sunday, David Meisenheimer, after he was no longer pastor here, wrote these following words to you in an email. This is quoting from David. Amy, what an enduring gift you are and continue to be to the dynamic ministry of CLC. Being as old as I am, I can remember our joy as we sought you, more joy as you accepted the call to become part of a growing ministry, and absolute delight as you enriched our team by bringing your best gifts to our work together every day. As far as I can see, you're still filled with enthusiasm for your ministry, even after all these years. You have made many signal and significant contributions to CLC as the staff and congregation have continued to grow. During your years of leadership, CLC has become one of the premier ELCA congregations in the nation. I am unabashedly proud of you and your great accomplishments. Amy, one of my favorite things about our work together is how messy our job boundaries were. You had your fingers all over worship and music, and I had mine all over family ministry. Do you remember the lunch that we had under the cherry tree, where the columbarium now sits, and we dreamed up and created the Seder meal in less than a week? Do you remember, I remember you helping me lift the church's one singular piano. We had one piano in those days. Helping me lift it from B building, down those steps, and up the steps to Christ Chapel. I remember you calmly stepping up to the microphone during our VBS closing assembly in Spirit Hall when the fire alarms blared and got over 400 children and adults safely exited from our then brand new Spirit Hall in the pouring rain. The life of a church is marked by both celebration and challenge, and through it all, you have been a steadfast presence. You have weathered storms, both literal and figurative, with courage and faith. Whether it was the 8 inches of water flooding Fellowship Hall during our Music, Art, and Drama Day program, or sudden illness or death in the congregation, and personally you were there when my mom died. Do you remember painting our own offices in the brand new, newly acquired Meisenheimer Administration Building? We welcomed and said goodbye to many staff members over the years. Associates come, associates go. And you met each challenge with grace and determination, never wavering in your commitment to serve. You certainly mastered the act of showing up. As you step into this next chapter, know that your legacy here is secure. I'm good. I'm a rock. This is the 8th draft. The lessons you taught, the friendships you nurtured, and the faith you exemplified will continue to shape us. Though your role within these walls may change, your influence is going to endure in the hearts and mind of all who have known you. Your leadership has never been about titles or hierarchy, but about service, about meeting people where they are and helping all of us become who we're called to be. We send you forth with our deepest gratitude and with prayers for joy, health, and fulfillment in the days ahead. May you find rest and renewal. May you discover new passions and adventures. And may you continue to be a light wherever you go.
Well done. Well done. Those of us on staff, we oftentimes work long hours, probably spending more time here than with our family, with our spouses. And the words are heartfelt and deep. If you can't capture 36 years in the talk, how about some pictures? Let's try to capture that in some pictures. How do you do that? Well, first of all, you tap the magic of Olivia Garrick, who can put it all together as our sound and tech engineer. And second of all, you put it to the song, the iconic song of Freedom School, something else that Amy brought here. And that song is Something Inside So Strong. It's used to motivate these young folks to dream big of what could happen. But today, Something Inside So Strong speaks about Amy. And we know that thing inside so strong is the Holy Spirit working through you. Take a look.
The higher you build your barriers, the taller I become. The farther you take my rights away, the faster I will run. You can deny me, you can decide to turn your face away. No matter, 'cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Oh no, something inside so strong. Something inside so strong. The more you refuse to hear my voice, the louder I will sing. You hide behind walls of Jericho. Your lies will come tumbling. Deny my place and time. You squander wealth that's mine. My light will shine so brightly it will blind you. 'Cause there's something inside so strong, so strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Oh no, something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. Brothers and sisters, when they insist we're just not good enough, when we know better, just look them in the eyes and say, we're gonna do it anyway. Gonna do it anyway. Something inside so strong. And I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Oh no, something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. Brothers and sisters, when they insist we're just not good enough, when we know better, just look them in the eyes and say, we're gonna do it anyway. 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 Because there's something inside so strong. Inside so strong. I know that I can make it. While you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride
Amazing to think that you've been doing this as long as any of us have been alive.
Your dedication to the church and community has always been inspiring to those around you.
Thank you for the love, care, and compassion you've shown for us, our families, and for Christ Lutheran Church.
Happy retirement!
We love you, Grady!
This ministry cannot happen without a very supportive and understanding family. This is not something where mom or dad goes off to work and come on back later. It is part of the whole family system. And so for the whole Daniels and their clan here, you are a blessing in making this all possible. For our next speaker, we also go way back. Go way back to the early years. The secret to Amy's success and vibrant ministry, we're going to chalk it up to the Holy Spirit first. And then talk about her passion and her vision and hard work. But what makes Amy so good at what she does is that she can create an army of volunteers. Not under compulsion and guilt, though it is one of our best motivators. But they see what she does, they buy into the vision, and they are compelled. They are compelled to be a part of what she is doing. And so her greatest gift, is creating a team of people that join her. And one person early on in that whole team has been Jan McLeod. And so I want to invite Jan to please come up and talk about some of the early years here. Jan, come on up.
I am so honored today to speak about Amy's 16 years in family ministry. Amy was hired as the minister to families with young children in July of 1989, only working 20 hours a week. Her job description included Sunday school, Wednesdays together, First Communion, Vacation Bible School, as well as teacher recruitment, training, and support. Over the next several years, Amy worked with a group of volunteers and developed Sunday school curriculum, as well as a new way to prepare second graders for First Communion, making the experience hands-on and a lot more fun. Story Day was born. Amy and her team of volunteers had also begun the development of a program they named Christian Foundations. This was a targeted learning time separate from Sunday school, where parents and children learned together about such topics as the Old Testament, New Testament, Ten Commandments, Apostles' Creed, and Lord's Prayer. This new program was to provide a firm foundation of faith for elementary students and to prepare them for confirmation. The church was growing and running out of space for all the programming happening on Sunday morning. Grouping children together was the answer. Care Zone, Spirit Zone, and Faith Zone were born from Amy's vision to enable Sunday morning education to continue to grow. To maximize space, Faith Zone, 2nd through 5th graders, met in the basement of B Building. And it was a noisy cacophony of children learning about the Bible through skits, stories, and hands-on projects. All curriculum was created in-house at this time. As the end of the 90s approached and the world was focused on Y2K, the Children's Ministry Office was buzzing with excitement. Amy and a volunteer attended a Child in Our Hands conference in Minnesota, led by Dr. Raleigh Martinson from Luther Seminary. The conference focused on the passing of faith from generation to generation and partnering with families to support them on the promises they made when their children were baptized. Amy came back with terms such as family ministry and milestones. And the exciting thing was, we were already doing some of this important programming through Christian Foundations, but there was more to be done. Amy presented a vision inspired by Raleigh Martinson to the Church Council on May 17, 1999, as a way to improve children's ministry. Amy introduced a seamless educational connection from cradle to college. Amy proposed that the structure of the children's ministry team be altered to consist of 2 directors of Christian education, a director of Christian foundations and confirmation, and a full-time youth director. Youth and children's ministry would be brought together under a single umbrella known as family ministry, and Amy would become the director. These new positions ensured that the family ministry team could walk with parents as their child grew in the faith from cradle to college. There was excitement building for middle and high school students as well. Preparation for the rite of confirmation needed a revamp. No more sitting for hours on Sunday afternoon listening to a pastor drone on about the tenets of the Lutheran Church. Sorry. A vibrant program was developed along the lines of Christian foundations. Again, parents and youth were learning together with a focus on how the small catechism applies to everyday life. A new layer of learning was added with events covering technology, sexuality, and drugs and alcohol. High school ministry was reimagined as well, starting with a makeover of the youth house. A dedicated and generous group of adults transformed the youth house with the new seating, fresh paint, games, and opportunities to get together and hang out on Friday nights as well as on Sundays and Wednesdays. The youth house became a welcoming place for high schoolers to come together and grow in their faith with Christian friends. The milestone ministry that Raleigh Martinson spoke about at the conference morphed into a program unique to Christ Lutheran and became Stepping Stones. Family ministry uses stepping stones to mark important milestones throughout a child's faith journey. With each stone, families learn together, they're encouraged in worship with a blessing, and empowered with tools to continue growing in faith at home. Amy's strong faith, vision, and passion for families with children and youth definitely laid the foundation for where family ministry is today. Amy always strived for biblical truth and excellence and was always open to new ideas. Her leadership allowed the family ministry team to grow and walk beside children and their families and to help plant those seeds of faith. We all trusted that the Holy Spirit would nurture those seeds. In 2005, Amy felt called to embark on a new path, and she left family ministry and became the director of outreach. It is now time for Amy to enjoy retirement and watch your grandchildren begin their walk of faith, knowing that all the tools are here in place at Christ Lutheran.
As the bells come up, we do have another video that we want to show you, also kind of from the earlier years. A member of our congregation, you may know, Evelyn Jarjour. She did a program on Wednesday night for those who maybe didn't want to get into music, and it was called Branching Out. And she remembers well Amy's leadership. Take a look.
My name is Evelyn Jarjour, and I've known Amy for 36 years. And in many capacities at Christ Lutheran, she always listened and was willing to support me, even though some of my ideas are like over the edge and a sort of crazy. Just as a teacher likes to have a good principal, me having Amy meant a world, and I appreciate what Amy has done. No way Amy could do all that she has at Christ Lutheran alone. I think her secret is that she's contagious. People love to follow what she's doing. She has done many things, but many people have done many things because of Amy. But my hope is in the extra time that Amy has, she and Kevin have a blast. I really do.
From Evelyn. Well, we've got the bells up here. Many of you have seen Amy playing the bells over the years. She calls herself a substitute bell player. But I think that the bells consider her as part of your gang, right? And their probably deepest desire is now that you have so much time on your hands, you want to recommit yourself to a life of dinging. Go ahead. That was beautiful. Inspiration, isn't it, to get back into the bells. Our next speaker never really wants to be in the spotlight. She's not one to get behind a mic or to tell a joke or sing a song or entertain the troops. But we know that Amy's superpower is Linda Cagley. She was there from the very beginning with our work over at McClintock. Amy was the visionary. Amy was the motivator. Amy got an army around her, but there's no doubt Linda's the brains. Because when Linda speaks, we all pay attention because she's usually right. and we are privileged to have you part of her team from the very beginning because we wanted to do it right. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you. All right, Amy, this is really hard. How to capture your impact with McClinic Partners in Education, McPie. Let's start with all the people that it's touched. The students and their families, the faculty and the staff, the dedicated volunteers, generous donors, community partners, and all of them have touched others as a result of McPie. So I'd like to ask, if you have been touched in any way by McPie, please stand up. Look at this, Amy. And this is just a fraction. There are thousands of others that have been touched by this ministry. Thank you. You may sit down. There are so many stories. Family night and summer camp participants like Andre, who did Fly to Learn and went on to get an engineering degree, or Tyree, who came back to family nights and led a rugby club and is now the rugby coach at Queen's University. And teachers like David, who volunteered alongside some of our retired engineers for our very first club, our robotics club, who went on to get his PhD and now teaches engineering. And then there's Shanitria and Kevin, who came to us through Freedom School, were on staff here for a while, and are now both ordained ministers. And I'm sure that we all have our own stories of how your ministry has touched us through McPie. So a little background. In the spring of 2007, the then superintendent of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools, Dr. Peter Gorman, held a Faith Summit to encourage school partnerships. Amy, as director of outreach, attended in place of Pastor Scott, and the counselor at McClinic Middle School, Diane Glover, attended in place of the principal. They ended up in the same breakout session. And at the end, Amy walked over to Diane, whom she did not know, and said these words, "I think we were supposed to meet." That's Amy, always led by the Spirit. Fast forward just 2 months, and McPie has its first program up and running, a full day, all summer long program for 20 of McClinic's most vulnerable students. No, there was no complete plan, but don't worry, she said, we'll figure it out. That's Amy walking in faith. It would work out, and it did, and 3 months later, family nights began. Now McPie is in its 18th year, and under Amy's leadership has grown to include family nights and teacher partners, tutors, school supplies, Thanksgiving turkeys, Christmas sponsorships, Feed a Family, Thankful Thursdays, Freedom School, science camps, scholarships to other camps, and so much more. McPie has been recognized by CMS as the gold standard for school partnerships and has been awarded the North Carolina Math, Science, and Technology Partnership Award. Amy, you have shared the story and encouraged others to do the same through CMS summits, Synod presentations, TEDx talks, and so much more. And you fought for the new school to be constructed when the school board was ready to raze the old McClinic building and not rebuild. And by the way, at that time, there were 600 students there, and now in that new building, there are 1,150. Yes, there are a lot of amazing programs and a lot of good news to share, but there's something more important here. Amy, you have always demonstrated living your faith out loud. Behind the scenes, you have been there for so many students, families, staff, and volunteers, whether lending a listening ear, arranging housing, offering words of support, helping with unpaid bills, and even your family opening the doors of your own home, while keeping all close in prayer. Amy, you have challenged us to get outside of our comfort zone, to better understand our neighbors, to more freely open our doors, to live being in community. You have helped us to understand generational poverty and that there's a difference between simply being not racist and being anti-racist. You have changed us, and you have changed Christ Lutheran. You have set the example and truly lived McPie's mission statement, creating future stories, building community, supporting families, inspiring volunteers so that all students succeed. What a blessing you have been to so many. Even though you're retiring, I know that your ministry will continue because it's how you live your life and it's who you are. Thank you for all that you've done and will continue to do. And personally, it's been quite a journey, especially these last 18 years. I know our friendship will continue. You have made me a better person and strengthened my faith. Love you. Thank you.
Oh, well done. Our next speaker is not on the agenda, but it really would be vacant without his voice. We asked Willie Pinson to speak tonight, but family matters, events took him out of the state here, and he couldn't be here. But Willie put together a video for this evening. You know, family nights have been a great success. And of course, with Willie teaching over at the school, there was a great relationship that we built over time. But it was the summer months that proved to be a challenge. During the summer months, a lot of kids with math and reading and science, they go back at least a half a grade before they start up again in the fall. And so, as Linda said, we took some of the more vulnerable ones, the ones that really needed that help. And working with Willie Pinson and Freedom School, we brought them here with your support every year for 18 months. And Willie, for most of that, was our director. He wanted to bring this greeting.
Unfortunately, I could not be in two different places at the same time today. So I'm sending this video, and I consider it a privilege to have been in ministry with Amy Daniels for all these years. See, it started in 2007 when Amy and her team came to a PTA meeting, and I was the PTA president at the time. They talked about all of the things they wanted to do to save our school. And they didn't just talk, they put action to their words. You see, in that same year, it was the end of the school year, Amy actually put together a camp. It happened so fast, I wasn't even a part of it. But what I was a part of, my wife and I had made a decision that since the church was so willing to do all these things for the school, that we would commit a year to be at the church in worship, in which I would sing with Spirit Song. And that's how all that happened, through Amy Daniels. But then, in addition to that, she was setting up also this thing called Family Night, where we would feed the families, and the students would have clubs, and the parents would have clubs, and everyone would leave happy. So in 2008, myself, Coach Armstrong, and some of the other faculty became the actual counselors for this camp that Amy had already set up again. It was a mess. What I mean is that it lacked structure. So it needed some structure. So I had gone to this camp called Freedom School, which was with Siegel Avenue, in which I had been invited as Harambe reader. And when I was there, they did a tour with me to let me know all the wonderful things this program was doing in increasing the reading level of the students. And I was, hey, I'm sold. This is nice. So I told Amy about that. And one thing I can tell you about Amy Daniels, she is a listener. She listens very well. So here is Amy listening well, and Amy then goes over with her team to Siegel Avenue, and before the end of the summer, she tells me, hey, next year we're gonna have a Freedom School and you're gonna be the site coordinator. Because Amy does not waste any time. She hears something and she makes whatever she heard happen. She's a good listener. We start our new year in 2009 as Freedom School. Now, everybody at the church is not happy that we're there. Yeah, believe that. And so what happened was, I would tell my interns, if someone say anything to you or do anything to you, do not respond. Tell me, and I will go to the advocate, who happens to be Amy Daniels, and she will handle it. And she did. She did that. The the first few years, and then it started getting better and better and better. But anyway, we did this all year. During the summer, we would have Freedom School. In the school year, we had family nights. And no matter what we needed, whether it was Freedom School or family night, no matter what we needed, Amy made it happen. And Amy, what I want to say to you, 17 years of that. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate all you have done for not only me, but all that you've done for the students at McClintock Middle School. And I'm so hopeful that your retirement will last longer than mine. And you find time to really relax and enjoy your life. And whatever God has for you in this next chapter, I pray it be your best chapter. Congratulations, enjoy your retirement.
Good. Well, Amy was gracious to give the Personnel Committee plenty of time warning about her retirement pending. And so we put together a call committee pretty quickly to be able to interview some people. Amy made it very clear that the person following her would not be trying to fill her shoes. They will have their own shoes, their own style, their own walk, their own kind of ways of doing things. Don't look at replicating me. It's even better yet to come. So we interviewed many candidates. We really did. And after it was all done, we really focused on Angela Davis. Angela was not only a devoted member of Christ Lutheran Church, but for 10 years, she has really head up the whole ministry of Tuesday nights and has done it very well. Angela's not filling anybody's shoes, but she is building on a solid foundation that you have provided. Please join me in welcoming Angela Davis.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's truly an honor to stand here to celebrate someone who was led with purpose, compassion, and a deep love for all people. My former boss, Amy Daniels. And you cannot cry or I will start crying up here. Amy, when I think about your time here at Christ Lutheran and our 10 years working together, one word stands out: impact. Through your leadership, outreach became more than a ministry. It became a movement. Your work in outreach has touched countless lives: Christ Lutheran families, McClintock families, hundreds of volunteers, partners, and community members alike. You saw needs before others did, built bridges where there were gaps, and inspired so many of us to serve with joy and compassion. You were instrumental in connecting our congregation with organizations across Charlotte like Habitat for Humanity, the Crop Walk, Crisis Assistance Ministry, A Roof Above, and probably largest of all, the beginning of McPie almost 2 decades ago. You opened our eyes to the needs of our neighbors and helped us see that serving others isn't something that we do once in a while. It's part of who we are as a church. But your influence didn't stop there. Your passion for outreach inspired others to become service leaders themselves. The knitters and quilters who create warmth and comfort for those in need, the garden ministry which grows food for our community, Sleep in Heavenly Peace providing beds for children who might otherwise go without, Room in the Inn's shelter for our neighbors experiencing homelessness, the Soup Kitchen, Refugee Resettlement, Kairos, Wheels for the Word, Charlotte Rescue Mission, McPie volunteers who take their inspirations with them and expand their volunteerism, your big 8 days of service projects, and this list could go on. Because of your vision, outreach at Christ Lutheran continues to grow in new and beautiful ways. And for those of us who work closely with you, we know just how big your heart for service is. It's unmistakable. Your selflessness is unmatched. You would spend the night at the church to be ready for our Christmas sponsorships for McClintock families, making sure every detail was perfect and every family felt loved. You often missed important family outings to put others first. That's who you are, someone who gives fully of yourself, quietly and humbly, with no expectation of recognition. As a mentor, you didn't just guide, you encouraged, empowered, and believed in me. You believed in our team. You challenged me and so many of us to think big, serve boldly, and love deeply. Because of your vision and heart, Outreach at Christ Lutheran is stronger, more connected, and more vibrant than ever. You have truly left this ministry better than you found it, and your spirit will continue to live on in every act of service and every life touched by this church. You have planted seeds that will keep growing long after this moment. Thank you for your leadership, your kindness, and your example. Congratulations on your well-deserved retirement. You will be deeply missed, but your legacy will continue to shine brightly. Now go enjoy all the mahjong, sunny days at the beach, and all of those grandbabies that you can. Thank you.
Great stories, good celebration, wonderful memories. I don't know if you heard through some of the stories that at Christ Lutheran, we don't always follow all the rules. Sometimes we make them up as we go. Look how quickly some of these ministries are up and going. People, sometimes I talk to people and they say, I don't go to organized religion. And I say, you should come to Christ Lutheran. We're not all that organized. But it works. It works. We have figured out how to make it work. We don't always ask for permission. We don't always look for a rule book to follow. Sometimes we need to go off the chart and plot our own course. It doesn't always work. Some of it fails. But in a lot of ways, the ELCA, the North Carolina Synod, has looked to us to be their R&D. Figure it out and then come back and tell us what works. We don't always follow the rules here at Christ Lutheran. I remember there was one time years ago that we had to go to this compulsory boundaries training. You know, you've had to go to those, haven't you, at work? Boundaries, healthy boundary training. And so our staff went and we sat around the same round table and we had our notebooks and pens and paper, and the presenter began by saying something like, well-defined boundaries are good for a healthy ministry. And we looked at each other and said, yes, I agree with, yes, absolutely. And then they said, you have to work hard in keeping a professional distance between staff members and parishioners. And we looked at each other and said, in theory, yes, probably a good idea. And then she talked about the absurdity of some of the stories that she had heard throughout the synod. Trying to shock us, she said, there are some churches in which retired pastors remain part of the congregation. Gasp. And we looked at each other and said, well, Pastor Lackey, Pastor Meisenheimer, Pastor Dahlman. And then talked about, there are some staff and some pastors and rostered leaders, if you can imagine, their doctors are members of their congregation. We said, yeah, it's Plonk and Sensenbrenner. We got them. And then he went on and said, and some dentists are members of their congregation. Well, yeah, Caparel, Schaus, Sumlin. Said, even their realtors are members of the congregation. Yeah, Debbie Kempter, do you want her card? And then even their auto mechanic is a member of the church. We said, thank you, Cresons. Then they said they even go so far as hanging out together after work, getting their families together, socializing, and going on vacations together. And realize that the Glazers and Daniels and Suskovics for over 20 years have run away to the beach after Christmas every year. And it has been a blessing to see now children and grandchildren joining. By this time, we're no longer making eye contact with one another because we're not following all the rules, but we've made them work. We've made them work here. And you and I, Amy, have made it work. We've got different relationships that we have to have. So it starts out that you've allowed me to be your boss, to talk about budgets and staffing and goals and direction along the way. And in doing so, we've given you a wide berth to dream big. And in doing so, you have become the moral conscience of this congregation. I liked what Linda said. You've helped us expand and being a better person. We figured out that boundary, but then we've gone beyond that. You've allowed me to be your pastor with all the different milestones of your family between parents' deaths and marriages and baptisms and all that's going on. You didn't have to go outside of Christ Lutheran to do that. And then the fuzzy boundary about friendships. It seems to work. Our families like hanging out together. We like time at the lake. We like spades. We like that time together. I hope we haven't broken all the rules, but I do hope that we've had a healthy understanding of those boundaries as well. Now, we haven't followed all those rules, but I've been deeply thankful to be your colleague in ministry, your pastor, and your friend. All that's changing. Well, not all that. I'm no longer going to be your boss. No yearly reviews and staffing and budgeting and saying, no, you can't do that. But it's my privilege to continue to be your pastor as you and Kevin remain members of Christ Lutheran Church. You don't have to go anyplace. But above all that, my greatest treasure is to remain to be your friend and have the families hang out together, to grow old together, have more grandchildren together, and celebrate life together. Amy, you have never been confined by boundaries. You have written your own rules and done very well doing it. And for that, we love you. Please come forward. We've got a couple of gifts for you here. Come on up here. Now, the first gift is that our quilters have gotten together and made a little something. Where's Mary Reed? There she is. I believe they have something to present to you. And by the way, afterwards, we're going down the lower commons for a nice reception. And come on up. Oh, if you're a quilter, come on up. It's not just Mary giving it, right? Come on up. But Mary also helped make all the cakes downstairs too. And she's an expert one. So come on up for the quilters. If you want to get behind the... Yeah, Miriam Fisher actually started the quilting ministry, Extension of Lutheran World Relief, probably 20 years ago. It's the 20th year anniversary.
Okay. Amy, we can't say anything. It's like they wrote the speech for us, so we don't have to say anything. But I do want to say, we're blessed to be a blessing, and you have truly been a blessing to this church and the community. Thank you so much. You have been the hands and the feet of Jesus, and we have really seen the Holy Spirit in action. So,
All right.
say this.
Can we see it?
Yes, we're going
I want to see it. Don't you want to see it?
As the psalmist said, he maketh me to lie down in green pastures. Well, we want you to take time to lie down in green pastures. We want you to step out. Okay.
There it is. Good. Thank you.
So this is the 23rd song, and you can use this with your grandbabies and lie down. It's gorgeous. Thank y'all.
There it is. Kevin will hold on to it. And on behalf of the congregation, a grateful congregation, we have a check for you too to celebrate and to be able to enjoy this retirement. So thank you, Amy, for all your years, for the gift that you are to this church and to me and to my family as well. I invite you to say a few words. Here, take that. Oh, give this to Kevin too? Sure. All right, give this to Kevin too. Okay.
And there was another card. Oh, you got it. Okay. I am blessed beyond measure. Thank you all for being here. I'm a bit overwhelmed. I'm deeply appreciative of your presence here, the kind words, all the speakers, all the great memories. My ministry here in this place has always been about partnership. That's the kind way of saying I don't like to do anything alone, okay? As I've been reflecting upon that ministry, I've realized two mantras that I've used. One is Martin Luther. This life, therefore, is not righteousness, but growth in righteousness. Not health, but healing. Not being, but becoming. Not rest, but exercise. We are not yet what we shall be, but we are growing toward it. The process is not yet finished, but it is going on. This is not the end, but it is the road. All does not yet gleam in glory, but all is being purified. I've had that hung on the wall of my office and now the wall of my bedroom. Had to find a place to put it in our home, but it's been here since the very beginning. I just didn't realize how important it was in the day-to-day and in my pursuits in shaping what I felt called to do. The second mantra is from Micah, chapter 6, verse 8. He has showed you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. When I began here part-time as the minister to families with young children, the precursor of family ministry, I said in my interview that I knew God had blessed me with some organizational skills and that I could manage getting all the right supplies in the right places for Sunday school and recruit the right number of people for the number of kids we were expecting to show up, for any children that parents saw fit to bring here. I didn't look beyond these walls. That and everything else alluded to by these kind people that have spoken is all for God's glory. I've always been a work in progress. The love of Christ was put in my heart, and my desire to do ministry was a gift of the Holy Spirit, and I don't believe God's done with me yet, and He's not done with any of you either. If I get started on memories, I'll never finish, but I promise to share them downstairs at the reception and talk, because each of you individually I probably have a memory of. All the miracles that led to that first summer camp. I can think of particular people and phone calls and business plans, which I said, what's that? And ways to raise money, and I figured a lot out with all of your help. I've told quite a few folks that if I was leaving this congregation, I'd be kicking and screaming. And I'd be very, very emotional. This is my home. And my family and I are excited to continue this journey. In the past couple weeks, I've joined 2 Bible studies, started a Mahjong group. I'm doing some fun stuff, and I'm looking forward to more and more things as a member of the congregation still. Speaking of family, I am so very blessed to have my family here today. We're a crowd, and we love each other, and we have a lot of fun. Kevin and I are about to celebrate 40 years of marriage in November. Yeah, he put up with me. So he has been key at anything that I have accomplished. He was a single father on Sunday mornings for many, many years, and Wednesday evenings when he didn't fall asleep on the bus when he got here. Along the way, he met a few church wives that he could hang out with. He also volunteered a lot. I've heard it recently, more voluntold, but he volunteered in many capacities. And my children, although always willing to let me leave home on evenings for meetings, because he was a lot more fun at night than I was. Like, don't you have a meeting, Mom? Don't you need to go brainstorm curriculum or do something? You can leave, Mom. Bye, Mom. But they were also here for everything. And I have to mention the one babysitter, she's sitting over there, to our family, because she started babysitting at age 12 when Jenna was 2. She was alone at our home with Jenna and Leighton the night David was born. Her mother let her spend the night at 15. She came to the hospital the next day to bring Jenna and Leighton to visit their brother. Without Holly, I would never have been able to do Bible school, music, art, and drama days, and so many other things. Anyway, most of what I did because of my love for Jenna, Leighton, and David, or because of them. All 3 of my children went to McClinic Middle School. David was in the 8th grade in 2007 when we dreamed of adopting a school. I saw how much McClinic needed a partner because they were living it. It was their reality. It's an outgrowth of their lived experiences. The book that counsel and leadership read called The Present Future, and my familiarity with the support lacking for schools like McClinic led to McPie. God provided vision and insights and miracles along the way to allow McPie to come into being. Our personnel committee, our church councils, our senior pastor, through the years have always supported the growth and the innovation. Truly visionary people, not just for McPie, but for family ministry and indeed all the ministries of Christ Lutheran. That first year, we started McPie without a single dollar in the budget. And it was a member of the congregation who told me, get Pastor Scott to write a few letters to the congregation. I'll match whatever the congregation gives. And asked me how much we needed. It was $20,000. We got $30,000 and he hadn't matched it yet. So truly miracles that helped, because that's how Family Nights was able to start. We had money for Family Nights because I had more than enough for the summer camp. It's been my great privilege to be part of countless dream teams. Since the first one I recognized back in about 1991, the hands and feet of Christ, not only in pastors and in other staff, but in volunteers and in the people that we went to meet along the way, whether it was Soup Kitchen or Room in the Inn or over at McClinic. Room in the Inn, they call them neighbors for good reason. We met Christ wherever we went. God is always way ahead of us in our community, providing presence to all of his children along life's journey. Indeed, God has spoken to me through all of these people and each of you. Again, if I start on memories, I'll be in trouble. I've got all kinds of memories and I was like, no, I'm not going to go there. I will say there was a member of the McClinic family, a parent there, and the year after my father's death, every time she saw me, she found a way to bring up my dad. She did grief and journeying with me better than I've ever done for anyone else. She really taught me about what it means to care for someone else in grief. But I'm very grateful for many of those things. I better stop. Pastor Scott, thank you for leading us as a staff and a congregation, for growing with us, for being my pastor, my boss, and my friend, sometimes all within the span of about 15 or 20 minutes in your office. I'll never forget right before my mom died. And you know the old thing where the head twist and the hat changes, and you know, he did that. He started out as boss, well, he started out as pastor and helped me grapple with what I was about to face with my mom. And then he put on the boss cap real quick and said, what do you need to drop? What do you need to hand me? Tell me what needs to be done and walk out of here so you don't have to think about it. And then you turned around and changed your hat again. And then you said, now what can Gretchen and I do? When can we come see you? So thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you for intersecting my journey, for not making me do anything alone, and for hosting this celebration. Thank you. I don't know what else to say. I'm very excited to watch the future, like I've been watching family ministry, and now to watch outreach with Angela. She has a new associate starting tomorrow, I believe, and watching that team continue doing great work. I can't wait to watch and see how it grows and changes and is better than ever. Our best days really are in front of us, Christ Lutheran Church. I believe that with all my heart. I'm very grateful for partnership along the way and for all God has faithfully done in and through all of our lives, and for that opportunity. Now, can we go continue the celebration downstairs with more stories and memories? And I pray that God grabs hold of each of you anew, so that we can all act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with Him.
Done. Well done.
Well done.
Well, we've got some more music, more bells. Have a seat for that and a song, and then we'll join downstairs.